What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Italian Football TV. So many goals, so many games in the Serie A this Sunday, and some surprises starting out so quickly in this day. The table has changed a little bit. We'll get into that a little bit later. One of the first games, the early games that we'll get going with, is Milan against Palermo. Milan scoring 4 goals against Palermo because of one man, Suso, coming back into the lineup, coming back from injury, and he definitely inspired this win over Palermo. What did you think about the score?
I mean, it was definitely straightforward for sure, but they scored pretty early on. Given 4 goals, that's a lot. They usually struggle between the smaller teams, but getting a goal early rejuvenated them, especially Suso with that free kick. Did you see that? Oh my God, on his debut coming back.
Suso has been a player since, I remember, against Napoli, where they lost 4-2. We were in Philadelphia with our friends Dave and Phil, and I remember saying how Suso really helped change the match for Milan. He's been such a crucial player. When he's not been there, things have not flown the same way, and with the signing of Delafo, there's just such a vibrance to Milan. They can beat their man, they're creative, they're 2 young Spanish guys, and they've definitely been crucial to this Milan, who's getting a little bit higher in the standings now.
And remember, Bonaventura is out for the rest of the season, so if they had him in too, they could have been so much better. They go pretty well with so many injuries, though. Now that Suso's coming back, they get a nice little gift.
Palermo, definitely more of a broken team, just trying. They would give up an arm and a leg just to stay in the Serie A, and it's not looking good, especially with that Crotone win. We'll talk about that later. Just not helping them out. Montella, after the game, he says that he was very happy with the way his team played, and he says that he knows Milan will be playing in Europe next season. Today, with this win, it is extra big because they stepped over Inter in the rankings. They went to 6th place, and they're 2 points ahead of Inter at this point, and we know that the derby is coming up, so it's going to definitely be a little bit more of an edge just to get over their opponent.
Definitely, for sure. When they jumped Inter right there, they're rivals, and they're playing them in the derby next week. It's going to be a crazy derby. There's definitely going to be some crazy fire, because whoever wins the next match is definitely going to be above one another.
Absolutely, and there still is some uncertainty as to what's going to happen. You know, Adriano Galliani, after the match, they asked him if Delafo was going to go back to Barcelona. He smiled and he says, I did speak to Barcelona, but I'm not going to tell you what the decision is yet. Definitely got to keep him going. Him and Suso, if they could both stay, they could be big pillars for Milan next year. But we need to worry about this season. Right now, we spoke about Crotone and Inter a little bit. We mentioned it. Crotone beat Inter 2-1 today. What can I say,
Marco? I was watching the game and they were up 2-0. And I just couldn't believe it. I even tweeted. I was like, what's going on?
I'll tell you.
I'll
tell you one gesture. One gesture I'm going to tell you.
Mentality. But against Crotone,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They don't know how to handle things. They don't. How you could lose to Crotone, a Crotone who are terrible. I'm sorry to say
they are terrible.
But I mean, let's say a spade for a spade. These are supposed to be 9 finals for Inter to get into a European spot. They lost last week to Sampdoria. And then they lose now this week to Crotone.
They should jump back on this against Crotone. If Falcinelli scored 2 goals, if Crotone go down, which they are, Falcinelli, he better go to a Serie A club because he's pretty good.
It's more than just let's sign a few players on the transfer market, because comparing squads, I mean, you can't even compare Crotone and Inter. That's why I'm saying it's up here. There's a problem. There's a serious, deep problem.
People are talking about Pioli being fired and it's his fault. What do you think? Do you think it's his fault, or do you think it was just a squad? Because before Sampdoria's loss, they were playing actually pretty good with him. But I think it's too soon to be saying anything about Pioli. I think that's the last thing they need to do is sack the coach.
Since you're bringing that up, I'll say what Pioli did say after the match. He took ownership a little bit for it. He said, our approach was wrong. We need to change our mentality. We screwed up. And he also says, the key word in there was we, because he went on, I don't have the full quote right now, but he went on to continue saying how it's not just him. He says, I did mess up, but it was all of us that messed up as a whole. Mm-hmm. Because I do believe the same thing. We never thought Pioli was a fantastic manager. And I don't think he's bad, and I would never fire him right now. But is he the guy to take them to the next level? That's a different question.
Well, you're only saying this because they lost to Crotone.
That's true.
I feel like it's
that's true.
He's a good coach.
But that's why
they were doing in the beginning of the season.
No. But that's why. But also the loss to Sampdoria. These were 9. They said 9 finals that we're going to play them like. And if you want, the Champions League is out of the question right now. The Champions League is gone. Milan has jumped above them, and we didn't think that was going to happen. Just a few weeks ago, we were saying how much better Inter was in a position than Milan, and I think we need to take a step back and say how, I feel like often in Italian media, we're always shown in the papers, the front headlines, like, oh, this team's in a disaster when they lose 1 week, or this team's doing amazing when they lose 1 week. I remember they wrote Inter is going to win the Scudetto after they beat Juve. There needs to be almost a balance of it and seeing things as a whole. And I think they're in a bad moment. We know both of the Milan clubs are in a bad moment. They're still not there now. This is unacceptable if you're an Inter who want to play in Europe, who need to be playing in Europe. And like there was a tweet by our friend Sia Vush. It was pretty funny. He says a few years ago the derby was played for the Scudetto, the derby was played for the Champions League final, and now the derby is going to be playing for that last Europa League spot. And it's sad to see. It really is sad to see. And Oselio, the director of Inter, he says that today wasn't that he didn't see an Inter that was Serie A worthy today on the pitch, and that he never wants to see something like that ever again.
I mean, it was just a horrible performance. If you lose against Crotone, I don't care what happens. You should. There's no excuses there. They're in a relegation thing. They only have like a couple of wins in their whole Serie A season. And
my boy D'Ambrosio scoring today, right? That's pretty.
He's always coming in close.
That's pretty funny. I found that funny.
Ever since Ventura called him up, he's getting some nice confidence.
I did find that one little bright side of things. Let's move on to Bologna and Roma. Roma thrashing them 3-0. First thing I want to say is that this is not the Bologna that you and I used to support. This is not the Bologna who would take the game to a team. They were playing at home. We've seen them lose huge this year to Napoli. I think it was 7-1. They're in 14th place, moving towards the bottom of the team. Not exciting at all. They've made strange choices, to say the least, and they still, again, there's not that fear. It's almost like a contentment with where they are.
They did fall a lot in the past couple of years, and it was a straightforward Roma win. Bologna didn't even look too threatened at all. It was embarrassing, that to say the least. Because remember, the Bologna with my boy Giaccherini there. Whenever you play Bologna, they always gave 100%. They're like the present day Atalanta, but now they're falling. I mean, teams fall and teams go up. It's just their time right now.
Yeah, there's a moment. You know, Atalanta was not this European contending team at one time.
There was always those teams that
absolutely, and that happens. That definitely happens with fluctuation. As far as Roma are concerned, I mean, 3 goals, Salah and Dzeko on the score sheet. They are actually the best in terms of numbers, in terms of stat. You could say whatever, you have your own opinions, but the stats speak for themselves. They are the best partnership, Salah and Dzeko. 49 goals between the two of them, which is absolutely incredible. They are actually both even on course to have their best seasons ever. Salah has equaled his most goals ever. 15 goals last year was his most ever, and he's already got 15 right now. Dzeko has 34 goals total right now. His best ever season was 36. Definitely looking very likely that they can both do this. And Roma's problem is definitely not on their attack.
No, for sure. Dzeko's right now tied with Belotti, Capocannonieri right there. So I wonder who's going to win it. They're toe-to-toe right now.
Tied?
Yeah, they are tied.
Belotti got 24. Dzeko got 20.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I actually want Belotti to win.
Me too. So Dzeko's nothing wrong with Dzeko, but he's a little bit older. Belotti, the hype train's on him, so hopefully he stays in the Serie A too.
Yeah, and I think this match is just a great job from Roma, just to get the job done. Get the job done. They know what they're playing for. They're playing for that the Champions League spot. We've got to see how they do, because we know that Roma can sometimes be a little bit inconsistent, and it won't help that Napoli just beat Lazio 3-0, the game that just ended for both of us. First thing I want to say is that I think that the scoreline is a little bit of a lie. I think that Lazio weren't that bad. It was pretty even, especially in the first half. But I will say that Lazio completely screwed up game plan-wise in the start of the second half. I mean, they were down 1-0. They came out in the second half, conceding a lot of space to Napoli, allowing them to do what they wanted, and then they made them pay by scoring that second goal, and that second goal completely cut the game off. They could never get back into it, and they screwed up on that front, and I will give Napoli some extreme credit for the way that they made this look much easier than it was. Lazio missing a lot of players, let's say it how it is, but the way that Napoli handled this match and went about this match, I think it showed them on a different level, even though I thought that the game was pretty even at times.
I'm going to say I'm disappointed in Lazio. We all know Napoli is the better team. Lazio is a little inferior to them, but this is a Lazio that's flying high. They're in the Coppa Italia final, and I thought Simone, Inzaghi was gonna do something else with this team. They
were missing a lot of guys, though.
Yeah, they were missing.
And
they made some stupid mistakes.
They did.
And
they had the chance to score.
Capitalized.
We saw how Lazio had the chances to score, and they didn't take it. But I think that turning point, that real turning point, was in the first 10-15 minutes of the first half, and the second half, when they were allowing Napoli to do what they wanted. Lorenzo Insigne dabbing, scoring on them again. 2 goals, absolutely great for Lorenzo Insigne. And again, I think that this was just a Napoli who knew how to handle the match, showed a lot of confidence with their shoulders up to do this against a Lazio side that could be extremely tricky. We know how they're in the Coppa Italia final. They're having an absolutely incredible match, season this year under Simone Inzaghi. And they've shown a lot that at home especially. So I think that Napoli made this look a little bit easier than it really was.
And Napoli's not making any mistakes. They're really hunting, and they do not want to slip up. They want to chase Roma.
They're both very close. I think that we already know how that one's going to go. And the rest of the games, just to give what happened. Gallo Belotti, we mentioned it a little bit. 24th goal. He scored 10 goals with his head. This is the most in Europe. One thing I want to say, why do we always say in the top 5 leagues of Europe?
Top 5 leagues because
why not just Europe?
Because in all of Europe, they can go to like
it's Europe.
I'm just gonna say League or something. I'm sure, so they do something.
I'm gonna say technically. I'm saying Europe, most in Europe. They said technically top 5 leagues. Even Bonucci's son was supporting Il Gallo Belotti.
He had his stickers.
They had his stickers. Then Belotti replied back to Bonucci. So that was beautiful to see. Udinese absolutely killing it with Del Neri.
Goal outside the box.
Del Neri has completely changed this Udinese side, even though it is a broken Genoa. A Genoa who is actually expecting to let go of Mandorlini after just a few weeks of having him, going back to Judic. Judic should have never been fired. That's what we said a long time ago when they fired Judic, and it seems like they might go back. Genoa at once top of the table, once a team that could beat Juventus, now a team that will lose 3-0 to Udinese. But credit to Udinese. And the last game today was Sampdoria-Fiorentina, a draw in that one, 2-2 draw, both close in the table. And I just wanted to say that I think that Fiorentina doesn't deserve a European spot. I think that this season I've really been disappointed in them. I think that they screwed up on a lot of matches where they could have done better, and I would rather see the Milan clubs in a European spot.
I get what you're saying. But Paulo Sousa also said after the match that they weren't playing for Europe. Did he? Yeah, he said there's some controversy on that.
That's good.
They just don't have the team.
No, that's fair.
And the thing is,
be honest.
Fiorentina scored like the last 2 minutes. Baba was like 89th minute, so they stole a win from Sampdoria that could have got the 3 points.
Sampdoria definitely a team. They're mid-table.
They fight though.
Ninth place. No, they absolutely do. And without Muriel still, he's injured. And it was a great week for Serie A. I mean, some definitely interesting things. We didn't expect Crotone to beat Inter, and sometimes you really never know with the Serie A. Guys, let us know what you thought about all of the matches. Let us know what you think. Will Gallo Belotti be the capocannoniere, or with Dzeko be it? I don't know. I say Belotti. Belotti, let's go. Hopefully that happens. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Ciao
ragazzi.